Hi, I'm Dr. Kari Rollins, and I'm happy to join Dr. Morcombe today in talking about the glandular system. And I wanted to first explain a little bit about how the glandular system is organized. And I practice both modern medicine and ancient medicine, so I'll kind of shift back and forth a little bit between what ancient theories are and modern theories. So we start in ancient medicine. We start with the hormonal system, starting at the base of the spine, sort of where our primal instincts are, and the emotion of the. Now I wrote it up here. The gland associated with the first energy center. So the energy centers are actually the glandular system is organized with. Um, a plexus of nerves around it. And in Western medicine, we call it one thing, but in Eastern medicine, they just call it a center, energy center. So the first energy center or the first glandular system at the base of the spine is the adrenal glands and your kidneys. And the adrenal glands, again, are stimulated when we're in fight or flight. And of course, that's energy depleting, and certainly it impairs the immune system. So there's a lot of price that the body pays when it goes into fight or flight and we're in fear mode because everything else kind of shuts down and we're just in this mode of trying to survive. But the this glandular center has nerves at the base of the spine, and we want to know how to get out of fear and also how to strengthen ourselves if we don't have much of energy reserves that we can use when we are in a place where we need to respond quickly and to protect ourselves. So the exercises and the really meditations that help to strengthen the kidney adrenal response are to strengthen our legs. Because that's when we're going to fight or flee. And if you want to fight or flee, you got to strengthen your legs. And it's interesting that people who have anxiety a lot often have weak legs and they don't feel grounded. So when you strengthen your legs and you have this capacity to feel connected to the earth and you feel like you have the strength to fight or flee, then the anxiety is a lot better. So I'm going to show you an exercise that I give to people who have anxiety, and really 30 seconds, a minute of this exercise, and people are out of anxiety because their legs are working so hard. So even if you just walk on a treadmill or you jump rope, but this exercise works in a really short period of time. Now, if you have knee problems, you'll need to modify it, but I'll show it to you and then a couple of modifications. So we call it frog pose in Kundalini Yoga, and you're kind of in a squatting position, which brings you close to the earth. Your heels are together and you're on your fingertips. And you stay on your toes with your heels together, and you're going to inhale and lift your hips up and drop your head down, and you're going to exhale and drop your hips and lift your head. So this takes a lot of leg strength. And if you want to modify, I have people put something on the floor so that they don't have to squat down all the way, but they can do just a little bit of a squat, and you get the same benefit from it. So if you do 20 frog poses or a minute of frog poses, there is no anxiety. Your blood has gone to your legs and it's out of your head, so you're not in that fearful place. So I'll just do a couple of them. So inhale up, exhale down. So that's an awesome exercise for people who have a lot of fear. The emotions that come up have to do with fear. It will calm you down. And any kind of breath practice. And at the end, I'm going to go over one of the best breath practices for calming the nervous system and balancing the sympathetic and parasympathetic. But we'll go through this quickly, and then we'll do the breath practice. So that's our first energy center. The second has to do in the pelvic area with the sex glands, our ovaries and testes in men. And so the sort of emotion of that is more passion, more desire. And when those glands are healthy, then we have the ability to regulate those emotions. Anything that puts pressure on those glands in the pelvic area is going to help those glands. So I'm going to show you one exercise, but there's lots of them. Anything that kind of opens your hips up with your legs widened will help open that first chakra or the first energy center. So you can, sit like this and bend and stretch. But I like to do it lying down because there's a little more pressure on the pelvic area. So you can put your hands on your hips. You inhale, widen your legs. Exhale, cross over. Inhale, widen. So it's an inhale, exhale. So you're putting pressure right here to stimulate the glands. It sort of squeezes or massages them, and you're opening your hips. So that's a great exercise for that energy center to open up and to stimulate the glands to be healthier and work better. The digestive center is at the navel point, and this is said to be one of the most important centers. We have all kinds of, that digestion, they say in ancient medicine, is the hardest thing the body has to do. Digest food, absorb the nutrients, and get rid of the waste. So, of course, there's a lot of problems with this area. And yoga has some really great exercises for internal organs. We can, do more exercises to strengthen your abdominal wall, but you have to always be pulling your navel towards your spine because that puts pressure on those glands so that they are stimulated. You don't want to push your belly out, you want to pull it in. So even just breathing. So I'm going to do a breath where I kind of force my air out more rapidly, like that. That's a great exercise for all your digestive organs. And after doing that kind of more forceful breath, you feel very calm. It's sort of like you get your oxygen levels up and you relax. You don't have to struggle, and a lot of your stress just kind of melts. So every breath can be exercised to pull your belly button toward your backbone. And a lot of people, when they breathe, they're breathing up here, and that does aggravate fight or flight. It makes you go into fight or flight. So breathing here is great for the whole digestive center. Then we have the heart is where the lower three energy centers transcend through the heart to the upper, more higher consciousness energy centers. So there's a really simple exercise to open up the heart, and it's called bear clasp. Your right hand is facing you, the left hand is faced away, and you're going to interlace the fingers, and you're going to pull, like you're trying to pull the hands apart. So you take a breath in, and you hold, and you pull, 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 pull. As long as you can hold your breath in, and when you need to exhale, you relax the pull, let your breath out. Take another breath in, and pull. Pull, 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 pull. And exhale. And if you'll keep doing that for 2 or 3 minutes, you've stimulated this whole heart area, and the gland associated with the heart is your thymus gland, and that's what regulates your immune system. So when we feel happy and peaceful, our immune system works beautifully. If we're scared and we're stressed, it shuts the immune system down. The thymus gland does, because it senses the stress, and so all of our energy goes into fight or flight, and all the bodily processes shut down. So that's why it's so important that we know how to access the calm heart. We know how to even just putting your hand over your heart like this. There's a little meditation where we do this. It's called the calm heart meditation. It calms your heart down, and with that calming emotion, then our immune system can function. way better. So, of course, the emotion of the heart is love. We love ourselves, we love our friends and family, and we find that life is more meaningful. So the calmer the heart, the stronger our immune system. And then we come up to the throat where our thyroid and parathyroid are located, and this is in ancient medicine said to be the most powerful energy center because it's associated with our voice, and our words are the most powerful things that we have. So this is an important area to take good care of. Um, because if we feel constricted here, not only do our glands not work well, but we kind of feel our voice we feel like our voice isn't heard or we can't speak our truth. So anything that just rolling your head during neck rolls is good for your thyroid, and even just turning your head consciously, like you're holding a crown on your head, is very good for your neck and your thyroid gland. You can also kind of drop your chin down, like you want to put your chin in the notch of your breastbone, but not collapse your rib cage. When you do this, that puts a lot of pressure on the thyroid and parathyroid glands and helps them to secrete. So both leaning your head back as well as bringing the head down can both stimulate this thyroid area. So make sure that you do some things every day to loosen your neck up. You can even do like a figure of 8 neck roll. These are all good to keep this area healthy and our circulation moving, because the wrist, the ankles, and the neck are the narrowest places in the body, and the place where our circulation can be most constricted. So all the big blood vessels that go through your neck to your brain and the return back to the heart needs to have a nice, straight, and relaxed neck. And it also helps us to speak our truth, so we don't feel ignored, and yet we can express ourselves. Then the next energy center would be here at where we call the brow point, which is associated with the pituitary gland, the master gland of the endocrine system. And it's also said to be what makes us intuitive. And the best way to stimulate the pituitary gland is to focus at what we call the brow point. We do that in meditation often, where with our eyes closed, we're looking as if we're looking between our eyebrows, which stimulates the gland. The optic nerve, which comes out of the back of your eye, crosses at the pituitary gland as it goes back to the brain. And because you're stimulating your eyes and it's going back to the pituitary gland, it stimulates the pituitary gland. And there's many other eye exercises and eye movement therapies that can also help the pituitary gland, but these are just some simple things. So if you want to meditate or kind of take a moment to step back and calm yourself down, try the practice of focusing at the brow point. Like your eyes are closed, but imagine you're looking between your eyebrows. That's wonderful for stimulating the pituitary gland. And then the final gland is the one at the top of it's the highest gland. It's said to be the highest gland in the brain, the pineal gland, which secretes all of our endorphins. When people have near-death experiences and they have this feeling that they're connected to everything and everyone, that's because the pineal gland is secreting. So it releases a lot of endorphins. So if you have stress in your life, a great way to sort of give yourself a dose of endorphins is to sit up tall and with your eyes closed, imagine you're going to look out the top of your head. And as you gaze upward, you stimulate the pineal gland. So that's done in meditations. So you can just sit for a few minutes with your eyes rolled like you're trying to look up and out the top of your head. It's very calming. If you do that for 3 minutes, you will feel a euphoria. And you don't have to take any medicine to feel that. It's something that you can create within yourself. So, um, the pituitary and pineal gland are not exercises that we do necessarily, although sometimes we can do what we call sort of bowing movements, where if you're sitting or kneeling, when you bend forward and bring your head down, like you want to touch your brow point to the mat, that also is said to stimulate the pituitary gland. But those higher glands in the brain are worth working on because they're wonderful remedies for depression and anxiety because you can influence the chemistry of your body and come up with a combination of endorphins that can really fight fatigue and anger and guilt and anxiety that you don't have to go to the pharmacy for. These are things that your body innately can do for you. And the more you learn, how to release tension and redirect it to, a place where, from a place that's congested to a place that doesn't have enough blood supply or energy is part of what a yoga practice is really all about. So, I wanted to do. So we did one for the throat, and then the two places to meditate would be one at the brow point and the other at gazing out the top of your head. So that's just a real quick synopsis of the basic glandular system. And I have to add that another part of the glandular system I didn't really mention is tied into the digestive system, the stomach and the spleen, because you have all these lymph nodes that line the whole intestinal tract. And the more we can, of course, stimulate those lymph glands to work, then we fight infection better and we can clean out the body's waste. So again, any kind of abdominal exercise that stimulates circulation to the abdominal area would help all the lymph nodes that line the intestinal area. So I hope you find this helpful. Again, there's there's whole sets of exercises in Kundalini Yoga for each of these things. There's a particular set of exercises for the kidney, adrenals, there's sets of exercises for the digestive system. But the one basic meditation or breath practice I want to just go over quickly is alternate nostril breathing, which is very balancing to your nervous system. It's fundamental to all practices of yoga. And the theory is that when we breathe through the left side of our nose, that's said to be cooling and calming. And they call it yin in traditional Chinese medicine. When we breathe through the right side of our nose, it's said to be warming and energizing. And that's called yang in traditional Chinese medicine. And some people will if you watch your breathing, some people will find that they're only breathing out of the left side of their nose all day long, or they're only breathing out of the right side of their nose all day long. So there's a practice to help balance that, because just breathing out of having one side of your nose where you don't breathe out of it, that can create an imbalance in your whole glandular system. So the practice of alternate nostril breathing is fundamental to all forms of yoga, and it helps to balance this yin, yang, what we call, feminine, masculine. It's got a lot of different names, but we all have these aspects that can go out of balance. So a simple practice that is, and you can find these on the internet, alternate nostril breathing, but a very simple practice. Number one is you sit up tall, and there's nothing wrong with sitting in a chair. People who don't sit comfortably cross-legged should sit in a chair where you can be comfortable. But what I'm going to do is take my right hand, and I'm going to block my right nostril with my thumb, and I'm going to inhale through the left side of my nose. And then I'm going to take my index finger and I'm going to block the left side, and I'm going to exhale right. And I'm not going to change my hands, but I'm going to inhale through the right side, exhale through the left. And you can continue that, inhaling left, Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. So as you practice that, you start to feel the balance shifting. Remember to breathe from your navel, not your chest. So you don't want to draw this big breath in where you're moving your shoulders. No, you just let your belly expand on your inhale and it pulls back on your exhale. And again, you alternate between breathing through the inhaling left, exhaling right, then inhaling right, exhaling left. Even if you do that for just 3 minutes, you will feel different. You will feel more balanced. Now, a full practice would be to do it for longer, maybe 11 minutes, but you would gradually build up to that time. I wouldn't take a beginner student and to have them do 11 minutes of alternate nostril breathing. I would build up to that. You can also, though, if you find that, geez, I only breathe out of the left side of my nose, you can feel that all day long. Well, you can learn to block the left side and make yourself breathe through the right side. So you can practice right nostril breathing. It's said to be warming and energizing. Breathing through the left side is cooling and calming. So you can also use that knowledge to say, okay, I just got off work and I'm exhausted, and yet I have to go grocery shopping and I need to pick up my dog from the vet or whatever. Um, you can practice that breath pattern of just right nostril breathing. It'll bring your energy up. On the other hand, you get off work and you're just stressed out to the max. Well, you can do left nostril breathing to calm yourself down relatively quickly. There's even a left nostril breath practice for restraining compulsive eating, because if you want to run home and eat everything in the kitchen because you're stressed, well, this will calm you down so you don't feel like you need to eat everything in the kitchen. You feel calm. So these are some of the practices and the concepts in yoga that can help you with your dedication to improving your health. And um, these are all self-help things that you don't have to buy anything. You just have to learn the practice and then do the practice. So I tell people to establish a practice, you find a time that you want to practice every day. You find a place that you want to practice. And you make a commitment to practicing for whatever time you want to make a commitment to. I recommend you don't start off with a long time, maybe even 3 to 5 minutes. But you commit yourself to a time and a place that you practice every day, and then you start to see things change. Then you can see, wow, I feel a lot better, and I know it's because I've been practicing what I know I need to practice, and that consistency is what brings about transformation. So thank you for your attention, and I thank Dr. Morcom for the opportunity to talk to you guys. And again, my yoga business is Raja Yoga sitting there behind me, and we have a website, we have classes and other videos you can watch online. So thank you very much. I hope you have fun with Dr. Morgan. Set up.